Alright guys, we're back and we are working on seats for the Cheap Jeep. So I got these really cool Honda seats. I just fell in love with the headrests. And I know there's no way these are going to fit on anywhere near close to the Jeep tracks. But I picked these up. I ended up getting them for 80 bucks because one of the brackets here is broken. So we're going to tear this seat apart. It looks like it's just 5 hog rings. I don't think I have hog rings, but I know I have zip ties. So we're going to cut these. We're going to try to expose this because we are going to try welding this seat. So I'm going to get some cutters and wish me luck. Alright, so that is where it is broken. So for my purposes, I'm going to undo these little springs here. And I'm mostly just saying that so I remember to put them back. And I'm going to move this seat up a little more. So let's see how far we get. So upon further review, we knew about this brake. What we didn't know about is this brake here, and the little spot welds that broke there. Not a big deal. Luckily, we were able to get the base away from the seat back, so we're just going to get this welded up real quick. Be back in a second. She's welded. Is she pretty? Nope. Does she have to be? Nope. And I welded that bar together, and I welded that back together, and then I welded the other piece back together. So we're in good shape. Let's start throwing the fabric back on this, I guess. Well, first we can take the seatbelt off of that seat, because unfortunately my seatbelts with the Jeep do not fit in there. Normally I could shave them, but that's not the case. So we slam the foam on. This just form fits. It goes right on. Really easy. So now the cover is going to be probably the hard part. I've never done it, but I can't see it being too easy. And we just got to make sure that we're just going to do like a third at a time, because we don't want to lose these springs. These springs pop through and they clip on the back of these springs here to hold the seat in place. So I think I'm gonna put like a little zip tie or something on these, because that's just gonna suck doing it like that. So yeah, let me throw some zip ties on these, and that way I can pull them through a lot easier, and we'll get going. All right, I don't have hog rings, but I have zip ties. So let's see if we can get this closed. That'll work for me. So let's see how the front looks. All right, so besides all the cat hair, I think I did all right. This is where the springs go, here, here, and here. So you definitely want those. Otherwise, this thing just kind of falls out. So, yeah, I think we'll throw the headrest on and we'll get the Jeep seat base. See what we can do with that. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I can just look at these seats and tell that they are not close. That looks like about 11 inches, and that down there looks about 15. So let's throw the seat up here, see what we're dealing with. I don't know, around there maybe. Yeah, she's not happy. Oh, she's all messed up. Oh. Yeah, there ain't nothing happy in there. Let me figure something out. We'll make it work. Here is how I arrived at our bracketing system. Now, I know I said I was going to use square tube, but thank God I didn't, because this seat is already going to be higher, probably by 2 inches than the stock one. So right now you can see I just did the tack attack on it just to make sure it was going to fit in the Jeep, which I did mock it up. Works fine. So I'm going to go through. I'm going to burn all this in. So I did have some 1/4 inch flat stock laying around, so I used that. And then I had some 3/16 angle iron laying around, and everybody knows that 3/16 angle iron is just as strong as 1/4 inch. I did just make that up. So I'm going to burn this all in. I'm going to be wearing my helmet this time so I don't end up looking like a lobster like last time. And I also put the nuts and bolts in here because I'm going to be welding the nut, so I just don't have to hold a wrench when I tighten it. So I'm going to grab the mask, turn on the welder, and get this done. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the marriage of two metals. So yeah, we threw some thick beads on her. And, you know, we tapped those in underneath. So we're going to clean this up and get her painted and repeat this whole process again. Man, did I screw this up really good. So apparently these seats were all the way up when I mocked everything up. And now I'm going to be hitting the roll bar because I cannot even move it over to get to my mounting point. So, wow, I'm going to have to think about this. Not cool. Not cool. Here is how I'm going to overcome this problem. Now, of course, the seats are not going to be able to tilt forward anymore to get people into the back, but hey, you know, if you got to crawl over, you crawl over. No big deal. So I adjusted these right to the point where I'm almost at the roll bar with the seat all the way back. So this hinge point down here, I'm just going to weld that on both sides. That way this stays. Because there is a locking mechanism somewhere in here. Like this bolt's supposed to end up here, I believe. Or no, actually it's supposed to end up in the back. And then there's a little latch underneath that locks it into place. But hey, that's a good driving position right there. And I can still go all the way forward for the shorter people in my family. So we're going to pull this out once again and weld it up. Then we're going to paint it. Then we're going to repeat it. Now, in order for me to get the dual slider action, what I'm going to have to do is, I don't know if you guys can see this, but this bar for a Jeep, it has to lift up. And this, my new mount, is keeping me from doing that. So I'm going to chop this here and here. I'm going to bend it down, and I am going to fill the piss out of this with weld. And I'm going to show you guys exactly how ugly that can be in a second. But we'll see if we can lift this up when we're done. Alright, if you think those big gaps are ugly now, just wait till I'm done. But we got plenty of room now, so we'll definitely be able to lift her up. Let's fill it. Is she pretty? No, but she's filled with weld. And now you can see, now I can lift up on it, and it doesn't hit. So, I'll be able to slide this seat all the way back, and then I'll be able to slide the other one even further. Well, I would if my roll bar didn't get in the way. So I really didn't even need to do this, but these were useless anyway, so I figured why not. And yeah, I might have broke a tab right there, so jammed a screw in there. I'll cut that, throw a weld on it, call it a day. Man, look at that. They look factory. Tell you what, man, not bad. I threw a little bit of Herculiner on them because I had a can laying around, and they look good. All right, let this dry, paint the seat belts because they're just old and crusty, and mount these in the Jeep. And we're back in the garage like always. So I believe when I left off, I was just finishing up the seat mounts. Now, like I was saying, because of the way these were built, I ended up having to weld the pivot. So these seats no longer pivot forward to get into the back. However, I was able to utilize both sliders. So let me show you real quick how you can still get into the back. So we take the bottom slider, move it forward, the top slider, move that forward. We are directly against the dash. And now, that's probably more room than when it pivoted the other way. So I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, anyone getting in the back is going to be small anyway, so they'll be able to get right through. So next problem that we have is I went down to my basement, started collecting a bunch of stereo stuff that I've had laying around. Hooked it all up, and I have this little amp here. This is all waterproof stuff. I bought it, I don't know, probably like 6 months ago. I don't know if this amp is bad or not. Now, it turns on. I have power to it. I can put the volume up about halfway, and then the protection light goes on. So it's not a ground. I did reground this. I thought maybe this is a bad ground, so you can see I regrounded that. Didn't make a difference. Could be my remote wire, because this old, I have an old like Henwood stereo. It only had like power antenna, so I use that as a remote. But I mean, it's turning the amp on, so I don't think that's the problem. The power wire, this was an old wire. Looks like an old aluminum wire. I did have a problem originally where I was getting no power to the amp, but it turns out that the wire at the battery was bad. The terminal was connected, but it was just all corroded. This whole system came out of a boat. So, but I don't think it's the power wire either, so I think it's the amp. So what I'm going to do is, kind of sucks because I had this all ran all nice and pretty, and I do have another amp I'm going to try. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the power, cut the remote, hook that up to the amp, just, you know, reground it, and see if that works. So let me go grab that and get started on this, because I want to hear this little thing. I've never heard this before. Looks pretty cool. Good news, bad news. I hooked the new amp up, and this is a brand new amp right out of the box that I had downstairs. Same problem, it's cutting out. It's possible maybe this isn't a good ground here. I mean, it's screwed right into the tub. So, since these two are connected, I'm going to take the ground off of this and run it straight to the battery. See if that does anything. So remember, kids, if your amp keeps shutting off and you can't figure it out, rather than spend 2 hours replacing everything, throw it on a battery charger. Yeah, good times. So now I'm going to put this all back to where it was, and hopefully it'll work. Here's a fun little fact. Apparently, an amp holds voltage for a little bit, because this was back feeding into my circuit breaker. Now, as you can see, this is completely disconnected, and I still got 4 volts. I mean, it is dropping. When I first disconnected it, it was at like 7.5, but I was going crazy trying to figure out why I disconnected my circuit breaker, because I actually wired this right. I got a nice circuit breaker right there. I was reading 14 volts on the one side and 10 on the other. So we're going to get this all back to where it was last night. Hey, when you're on a budget, Duplicolor vinyl and fabric spray to the rescue. Now this is how far I got with 1 can, and I got 2 more left. Now, I did try this out. It will get darker, like that section there. You'll still see a little bit of the rainbow inside when I'm all said and done, but not bad. And the vinyl comes out awesome. So I bought 3 cans of this stuff. This is my first can. This is flat black, and now I'm going to go over it with 2 cans of gloss black. Reason I didn't go all gloss is because they only had 2 cans. So let's see how this ends up. So here we are, 11:30 on a work night, but shit's got to get done. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with her. Now, of course, there's nothing we can do with the blemishes in this seat, but considering this only took 2 cans and it was 12 bucks a can, I'm pretty happy with my $25 seat. So I think it'll match. These seats aren't exactly black anyway. So that's the last thing. So tomorrow when I get home from work, this will be dry. We'll throw her in the Jeep, and then the Jeep will officially, well, with the interior, be done. So let's circle back to this tomorrow. But yeah, I'm pretty happy. That's much gooder. All right, I'm not gonna lie. I have been known, according to my friends, to get lucky a time or two. With that being said, we just threw the back seat in, and I think overall she looks pretty good. I think she matches fairly well. But here's what I mean by luck. I could slip like a credit card in here. And I didn't plan it like that. I was kind of hoping for the best. I got maybe a ½ an inch on this side, and damn near nothing over there. So yeah, overall I'll take it. So guys, that's gonna do it for this video. I think there's only 1 more video left on this, maybe 2. I'll do a price reveal on this. I think you guys will be pretty surprised at the overall cost. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel and get off the couch and get in the garage. If I didn't know any better, I'd say I have not used this duct tape, which is silver, since I painted the van. Yep. Good times.